Hello and welcome to this class. We'll do a full body deep stretch and we are gonna get started sitting on the shins. If that gives you any pain, of course, you can always find a normal cross-legged seat, but the benefit here is that we already stretch gently into the tops of the feet and the ankles. And we're gonna rest the hands gently on the thighs, roll the shoulders up towards the ears with an inhale. And with the exhale, all the way down the spine, softly closing your eyes to just take a moment here to fully arrive on your mat. Letting go of anything else right now. This time is only for you to tune in with your body, check in with yourself. Especially when we're working on stretching and flexibility, the breath is really important. So we want to connect to our breath in a profound way so that we can maintain it throughout our practice. Because if we can manage to breathe fully and deeply while we're in a deep stretch or while we're feeling a lot of sensation and discomfort, we can communicate to the body that we're okay, everything's fine when we breathe fully and deeply. And that allows us to connect to our sympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest mode. That's where we want to be when we practice yoga, to calm down, to access every stretch a little bit deeper. So let's find our diaphragmatic breath. You can place your hands around the lower part of your ribs. And with your next inhale, start to breathe into your palms, into the hands. Feel how they're widening, how the ribs are drawing apart from each other. And with the exhale, feel how the palms get closer together, how the ribs are knitting back in. Let's do this again. Deep inhale in, breathing into the whole diaphragm, and deep exhale out. Almost imagine as if you're breathing into the backs of your lungs. Keep breathing, full inhales and full exhales, breathing through the nose only, so keeping the lips sealed. And you can release your hands back down, but try to keep that breath and keep that feeling in mind of how it felt to breathe into the palms, into the sides of your waist. Really nice. Let's start to blink the eyes open and interlace the fingers all the way down to the webbing, flipping the palms away from you, reaching the arms forward. And with the next inhale, we're gonna reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Look up, open the chest. And exhale, reaching the arms long in front, rounding the spine, chin to your chest. Again, deep inhale to reach up, look up. And exhale to round forward. Let's do the same thing, but on the toes now. So coming into our toe stand, making sure all 10 toes are tucked under here so you can check. And from there, again, reaching the arms all the way up, look up, inhale. And with the exhale, reaching the arms forward, rounding the spine, draw your belly button in. Full inhales and full exhales. With the next inhale, reach your arms up and then release your hands behind your spine. Bring the palms together, interlacing the fingers, and then let's reach the knuckles behind us towards the mat. Likely that really increases the stretch on the toes as well. Try to stay with it, breathing into any discomfort. Full inhale in and full exhale out. Inhale, slowly release your palms, bring the fingertips forward and down, untuck your toes, and we'll do a counter stretch, leaning back onto the heels, lifting the chest up and maybe floating the legs off the mat here. If this is really intense, you can also try one knee at a time, Maybe you can do both knees. Maybe you can find your balance here, bringing the hands in front of the heart. Keep lifting the knees up, maybe sitting a little taller. Full stretch into the legs. This is really intense, especially for any one of you that's wearing a lot of heels. Deep inhale. And with the exhale, slowly lowering the feet back down and coming onto all fours into our tabletop position. Let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And let's move into the spine now in our cat-cows and try to move here vertebra by vertebra. So let's start by tucking the pelvic bone under, so arching only the lower spine. And from there, up to the middle spine, upper spine, lifting the chin, lift the head. And with your exhale, reverse the movement, so tuck the pelvis, start to round, lower spine, middle spine, upper spine, chin to your chest. So this is a super slow movement. Try to feel into it again. Inhaling to arch, starting from the bottom, all the way up to the crown of your head. And exhale to gently reverse. Feeling as if you're moving like a wave here. Last time, inhale. And full exhale. So nice. Let's come back to our neutral spine. And bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Let's lift the right leg all the way back, long through the toes. Keeping the leg in one long line. With the next inhale, we're going to tap the toes into the mat and exhale to lift. We just want to find slight activation in our right butt cheek here. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Let's do a few more here, trying to keep the lower spine really stable. Moving only from the glutes here. So good. And next time that the leg is lifted, let's do tiny little pulses with that right leg. Nice. And then bending into the right knee, flexing the foot, reach your left arm forward, and from there all the way back, and then see if you can reach the right foot, the ankle, if you can. Then start to kick the foot into your hand here for our tiger pose. Opening the chest, kicking, and really finding a stretch, openness. Stay with it. 3 more breaths. Kick. Last 2. Maybe kicking even more. Last 1, even more. And slowly release. Reach the left arm forward, lower the right knee down, and then thread the left arm underneath the right, coming onto left shoulder for thread the needle, walking the right fingertips forward and then towards the left corner of the mat, and breathing into our left shoulder. Try to think of your breath from the beginning of the class and try to keep the weight shifted back a little bit more into the left knee, the left hip. Last breath in. And exhale, slowly placing the right palm back down. And inhale, reaching the left arm up. Look up at your fingertips. Inhale here. Exhale, let's come into our supported side plank. So stepping the left foot back behind the right toes and reaching the left arm towards the front now. If it's too much on your balance, you can always use the right heel as a kickstand here. 1 more breath in. With the exhale, let's rise up for our gate pose, sliding the left hand down the left leg, right arm alongside the right ear. Such a nice stretch into the right side body. Deep breath in and full breath out. Inhale, let's come back, place the right palm down and the left. Bring the right heel back in, and then we're gonna keep the left foot point it down into the mat and start pressing into that foot, lifting the right knee up, coming into our three-legged dog. Lift the right leg, open your hip, bend the right knee, drawing the right heel towards your butt cheek. Keep pressing out of the palms, drawing your chest closer towards your leg. Last 2 full breaths here, maybe drawing the knee a little bit higher. 1 more breath in. And exhale, let's flip our dog. So stepping the right foot behind the left leg, reach the right arm up and over. Gaze towards right fingertips, lifting the hips even higher. Inhale. And exhale, look towards the front of your mat, and we're gonna step the right foot all the way to the front. So that you can always assist with your hands here, lowering the left knee down. Make sure the left knee is comfortable here. I always currently practice with 2 mats on top of each other because that just gives a lot more softness, and we want to make sure we never have any pain in the knees. Now let's make sure the right knee is on top of the right ankle. Interlace your fingers all the way down to the webbing. Place the palms onto the right thigh, and let's push the palms into the thigh, leaning back, maybe even looking back, trying to see your back foot. So finding a full back bend here while melting the left hip forward and down. Three more breaths. And slowly lifting back up. So nice. Shifting back, half split. Straightening the right leg. And just take your time here to set this up. We want to make sure left hip is on top of the left knee, so we're not leaning back here. We're keeping everything in line. Right foot is flexed, right toes draw towards the heels. You can even come a little higher here to bring the hands onto the hips and then tilt the hips back to find so much length in your spine. So we don't want to have any rounding in the spine. We never ever want to do this where we just fold forward, rounding the spine. We want to keep the length to protect our lower spine and don't create any unnecessary tension there. Keep drawing the right heel down towards you as if you want to slide it down the mat towards you. So finding that activation. Whenever we activate what we're stretching, it's a very, very safe way to stretch. So especially if you have sensitive hamstrings, try to always activate what you're stretching. And let's stay for 3 more full breaths. Deep inhale in and full exhale out. Maybe sinking a little lower. So beautiful. Let's come back into our low lunge. An option here to do the same thing one more time with your palms on the hands, or maybe coming a little bit into an over lunge by walking the right foot forward. So increasing the stance here. It's totally fine if the foot is now in front of the knee. Maybe shifting the left knee back, so we're in this over lunge. If you can't reach the mat here, you can also hold on to something to find length in the spine and try to keep your upper body on top of the hip. So we don't want to be here because then we're not really stretching the hip flexor, and that's what we want to do. So keep leaning back, maybe lifting the chin up to again find that back bend and breathing into any sensation. Full inhale and full exhale. Think of melting the left hip forward and down. Really nice. And let's slowly come back forward. So shift the legs closer together, moving straight into our lizard pose by heel toeing the right foot to the right side of the mat, hands underneath the shoulders. I always like to start here by lifting the left knee up to find length in that left leg, shifting forward and backward, maybe making circles and feeling into your hip. And whenever you are satisfied, you can lower the left knee down, untuck your toes, and let's find our depth here. So maybe that means staying on the palms, maybe That's lowering onto the forearms. And then I want to show you two more options. One is to bring the right arm underneath the right leg and the left fingertips long to the side. So bringing the arms like wings to the sides, coming high onto the fingertips, maybe lowering the forehead all the way down into the mat. And a fourth option would be to walk the hands all the way forward, maybe even off your mat here. And from here you can also bring your forehead closer towards the mat, finding length through your arms and melting that left hip forward and down. So choose whichever version you like the most or whichever version is accessible, knowing that depth will come with time the more we practice. Breathing through any deep sensation, any discomfort. And let's slowly lift back up and walk the hands towards the left, bringing the right knee down, setting up for our frog pose by bringing the knees wide apart. The insides of the feet so the arches of the feet are flat in the mat, and the wider we bring the heels apart, the deeper the sensation. So you can try here to bring the heels wider than your knees, and then stay on your palms here for a moment and start to shift the hips gently forward and backward. Feeling how the stretch increases once we shift back. And then we're gonna lower, if you like, onto the forearms. Keep the hips shifted back to that sweet spot where you really feel a strong sensation. Keep the heels apart and breathe into your inner thighs, relaxing your head, your neck. If you want, you could even lower all the way down, so bringing the stomach and the chest down, forehead onto your palms. Surrendering to the stretch. Let's take 3 more breaths. And we're slowly gonna rise back up onto the palms. Be so slow and gentle here, slowly bringing the heels back together and the knees back together, turning back towards the front of the mat, hips onto your heels, and just relaxing for a moment, releasing any tension from your hips. Let's do the other side. So let's come back onto all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Extending the left leg long behind, point long through your toes here. Try to keep the left hip pointing down so that we're not opening the hip here. And with your next inhale, tap the mat, and exhale, lift up. Trying to keep the spine so straight, only moving from the glutes, the hamstring here. And moving with your breath. You can move as slow or fast as you like, but try to keep that full engagement through the leg. Last 3, 2, and 1. Keep your leg lifted, little pulses here, pulsing the leg higher and higher while keeping the spine long. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let's bend the knee, flex the foot, reaching the right arm forward and all the way back, grabbing the left foot from the inside or holding onto your ankle and then kicking the foot into your hand to open your inside, or holding onto your ankle and then kicking the foot into your hand to open your shoulder here. Trying to find a fixed point for your balance, maybe kicking even more and even more, finding that openness in the hip, the shoulder. Staying for 2 more breaths, kicking higher. Last inhale, and with the exhale, Release. Bring the right arm forward, left knee down, and we're gonna thread the right arm underneath the left, coming onto the right ear, and walk the left fingertips towards the front of the mat and then over towards the right corner. And keep drawing your weight back into the right hip, the right knee. Breathing into our shoulders. And slowly bringing the left hand back underneath the shoulder and reaching the right arm up. Look out at your fingertips and then step the right foot behind the left toes for our supported side plank. Using the left toes here as a kickstand if you need to. Reach the right arm long in front, finding length through the body. And we're gonna rise all the way up, coming onto that left shin and sliding the right hand down the right leg, left arm alongside the left ear for our side stretch. Find expansion and length. Feel as if someone is pulling your hand towards the right. One more deep inhale here. And exhale, let's bring the left palm back down. Bring the right palm down and turn the heel in. Let's tuck the right toes under and lift up into our three-legged dog. So lifting the left leg up and bending into the left knee. Open your hip here. Keep pressing the chest back. Keep drawing the left heel towards your butt cheek. And staying for 2 more breaths. Full inhale. Full exhale. Last inhale here. And with the exhale, flip your dog, stepping the left foot behind the right leg. Lift the chest, reach your left arm back. Look at your fingertips. Deep breath in and exhale. Let's step the left foot slowly and gently all the way to the front of your mat. Bringing it down, lowering the right knee down, untuck your toes. Lifting up, setting up for our low lunge with the back bend. So interlacing the fingers all the way down to the webbing, palms onto the top of your left thigh, and then melting that right hip forward while pressing the thigh away from you to lift the chin up, chest up, maybe looking all the way back. Full breaths. And slowly lifting back up, bring your fingertips down, and we're going to shift back into our half split. Right hip on top of the right knee. Left leg is straight. Left foot flexed. Try to square off the hips here. So drawing the left hip back and the right hip forward. And then finding the length in your spine with every inhale, lengthening even more. And with every exhale, we can fold a little bit deeper. But try not to compromise the length of your spine for any depth here. It doesn't matter how deep we can go, because if we do it with a rounded spine, we just do more harm than good actually. So try to keep the length, and over time, if we practice with the right alignment, we'll find more and more depth that's also sustainable, and that's also just good for the body. 3 more breaths here. Try to fully tune in with the sensation. Keep drawing that left heel down towards you to activate the whole back side of the left leg. And then we're going to come back up, and you have the option to either do the same low lunge version we just did, or if you want to go a bit deeper, then you can also bring the left foot further forward. So increasing the stance, so we're basically in an over lunge here. Fingertips into the mat or onto some furniture, or if you have blocks next to you. And from there, melt the right hip forward and down and lift the chin up. So keeping the weight or the upper body on top of the hips here. So we don't want to be here. We want to be upright or even leaning back here. Lift the chest up and then try to soften further down into the mat. Maybe even closing your eyes. Full attention inwards. Good. Let's slowly bring the left foot back. Heel toe the left foot to the left side of your mat. The hands come underneath the shoulders. Lift the right knee up. Runner's lunge, shift forward and backward. Start maybe to find intuitive movement here, feeling into the hip, keeping the right leg so active, so keep the right knee lifted, right hip is lifted. And whenever we had enough here, we can lower the right knee down, untuck the toes and find your version here. So go as deep as you like and as you can. So maybe staying on the palms, maybe forearms. Try to just do the same thing you did on the other side. Maybe you found those wing arms to the sides. Bring the arms wide, forehead towards the mat. Or our fourth option was to bring the fingertips all the way forward, finding length through the arms and melting closer down. Never trying to let go of our deep breath, so try to stay with it, keeping your awareness there. You can walk your hands to the right. I'll just come to the left, so I'll face towards you. And let's set up for our seated straddle pose. So bring your hips and make the legs wide open. So bringing the heels wide apart. You can come to the long side of your mat so that you have padding underneath the heels. And just try to set it up here, going to your depth, maybe lifting the hips to shift the legs a little bit wider. And let's start by just finding a long spine here. If you feel like your spine is rounding, you can always use a pillow or some kind of support underneath the hips to just get a little bit more height so that we can sit tall here. Hands onto the hips, maybe rocking the pelvis forward and backward here so we feel the difference of where we want to go. Good. And then let's either stay here or if you want, starting to walk the hands forward, maybe lowering onto the forearms, finding your depth. And whenever you found it, staying there and trying to fully tune into any sensation, bringing softness to those areas that feel really, really tight. And with your mind, trying to lengthen those muscles, letting go of any tension that we don't need anymore. Try to keep the feet active so toes are facing up towards the ceiling. And let's come back to center wherever you are and place the right hand on the inside of the right leg. And reach the left arm up and over. Maybe you can reach the foot here. It doesn't really matter. We just want to try to open the chest, so keep drawing the left shoulder back. Softening the head, the neck. Going back up and switching sides. Left hand comes down and the right arm reaches up and over, maybe towards the left foot. I'm trying to keep the shoulder open here so that we're not folding over the leg, but that we keep openness. And let's rise all the way back up and bring the legs gently back together. Coming back to the front of the mat. And we'll move, the last pose we'll do is our pigeon pose. So you can cross your ankles. Let's set it up from a downward facing dog. So move into your down dog. Maybe taking a moment here to just feel out the hamstrings, move the hips. And with the next inhale, let's reach the right leg up, three-legged dog, and then bring the right shin forward, lowering it down into your mat, extending the left leg along behind, and starting by coming onto the fingertips here, maybe moving that right heel further away, and trying to square off your hips. So left hip forward, right hip back. Press into your fingertips to find length in your spine. Deep inhale. And with the exhale, we're slowly gonna melt over the right shin for our sleeping pigeon. Full surrender to the stretch in the outer right hip. Try to gently draw the left hip forward, right hip back to increase the sensation here. If you want to switch it up a little, you can walk your hands over towards the left, so bringing your upper body on top of the right foot here. And leaning over the foot. And let's lift back up, coming back to the middle, and then coming onto the left toes, sliding the right foot back into our downward facing dog. Let's take a full inhale in here, full exhale out, and then reaching the left leg up, three-legged dog. Bring the left knee into your chest and lower the left shin down, extending the right leg long behind us, making sure there's no sickle or anything in the right leg, in the foot. Fingertips down, maybe moving the left heel even further away, and let's find our long spine here. Draw the right hip forward, left hip back, deep inhale, and with the exhale, folding all the way over that left leg, over the left chin. Bring your forehead down and try to fully surrender to the pose. Keeping the right hip forward, left hip back. And let's walk the hands towards the right, melting the upper body more on top of the left foot. onto the outer left hip, bringing the feet as wide as the mat, hands come behind you, and let's just windshield wiper the legs from side to side, releasing any tension. And then crossing the ankles, easy cross-legged seat. Hands onto your knees, just taking a moment here to close the eyes, feeling into the body, soften your shoulders. And bringing the hands in front of the heart. And we're going to lift the hands up to our third eye point between the eyebrows for clear and kind thoughts. Lower the hands in front of the lips to speak kind words. And back to heart center to feel and give love and kindness. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me. I really appreciate it. I know there are so many yoga videos out there and you're here. That means a lot to me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you want to practice with me one-on-one, you can do so. Just come to my website, Yoga by Nicole. We can have a free 15-minute call where we talk about everything. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Lots of love. Bye-bye.